Next time, Joe and Eric are going
We'll get plug in the cameras and the One minute. It'll be, yeah, it's live right now. I want to make sure it actually is live. You know what? I think you can go. It's not like it's my tree in the phone.
Welcome everybody, and I'm glad to see you stayed. And did miss the end of the hockey game, which unfortunately we lost. They did a great job, and I think we should give a hand for our Canadian boys. So we're just getting ready to start, and Dee is going to be our MC. So Dee, welcome.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. Is everyone looking forward to an amazing afternoon together? You remember me from last time. I'm going to make you guys talk. And I just want to give a round of applause to the entire audio AV team. This is not an easy job. So we're going to give them grace and love throughout this because we're doing a pretty high-tech thing here, right? To those of you watching on YouTube, we've got a really great show for you today as well. I want to kind of echo what Mary said. I think, it's so amazing to watch Canadian Pride, and even just with this congregation, the pride that everyone has. And we get so excited and wrapped up and going for the gold, but we still got silver. And that's pretty amazing. So I love that we gave them love, and it was a beautiful reminder to our children, to ourselves, to not give up. And to be proud of our wins, even if they're not the one we really, really wanted. But there definitely, I think we could tell that there was love coming at Canada, not only for hockey, but every sport this Olympics. So let's continue to love and support our athletes, whether they're over in Milano or whether they're right here in Penetanguishene. So I want to give a round of applause to athletes for showing us strength and courage. Today is a little bit about strength and courage as well, because it's not an easy thing for people to get up here in front of a group of people to share their gifts, to share their knowledge. Sometimes our knees might be knocking. Sometimes this is something that we're like, I can do it, and you go up and you're like, oh, little people are looking at me. This isn't to make our speakers nervous. This is to remind you you're in a room of people that want to see you win. They want to see you guys. Everyone is excited to see each one of you come up. How many of you were at the last one that we did by show of hands? Did you all feel like you left with a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of, I'm pretty impressed by this person that didn't know that they had this gift, right? I think I was talking about the beautiful singing that we're hearing for days, learning about all the different things and the old radios, all that stuff was so fascinating. So I'm super excited to see what we've got in store today. We have a beautiful group of people. Are we all set for our first presenter on your end? Beautiful. All right, our first presenter today, and I'm not sure how tall you are, so just ever so slightly. Okay, so we'll go. So we're about this. I think we're about the same.
Well, a little taller than me.
I like to give myself extra
I used
height.
to be 5'10", but
Okay, but you're definitely taller than me because I'm still riding 5'4.5" that I was told when I was 18. So I probably have gone the other direction at this point. I'm very excited to introduce Michael. Did I pronounce that right? Or is it Michelle?
no, Michael.
Okay, sorry, it has an A, and I'm Italian, so I don't be
People
saying
have
Michelle.
problems with the
Michele.
second name. The second name always gives them.
How do we pronounce it?
Papisa.
Papisa.
That's it.
I'm saying it Italian, is that
It's
correct?
not, it's Ukrainian.
So I tend to do that. I make everyone Italian or French. When I went to Portugal, it was actually quite hilarious. I made everyone French, and they laughed so hard at me. Michael became a member of First Church in December of 2026. and has been a familiar face to the church for a number of years. As we learned last October, Michael is a man of many interests. His presentation of ham radios was most appreciated and struck a chord with many in the audience. Today he looks to the skies. Let's give a hand to our very first presenter, Michael. Welcome back. You're definitely not me.
Good morning. Good morning. Last time I talked about amateur radio. Now I'm going to talk about amateur astronomy. Now, I came up here in 1969 into this area with a sailboat, a little Shark sailboat, 24 foot, and sailed in this area weekends until in 1882 I bought a house on Peekaboo Trail and still had boats. But what got me was the clear skies at night, especially if you're out on your boat and you go up into the islands a little bit further north, even Indian Harbor and places like that. It's pitch black at night. And if it's a clear night, you can see over 2,000 stars. Surprisingly, you may think that there's more than 2,000 visible, but it's really not. 2,000 is a big number. And there are 30 stars that are used for navigation, and that's what got me into it. I had a sailboat, and for a while I was a wannabe world sailor. So I studied a little bit of celestial navigation. I bought a little sextant, a plastic sextant, and I could recognize a couple of the stars. However, that wasn't really enough. What I now occasionally do, we have a couple dark sky, got to start my time. We have a couple dark sky areas around us. Tiny Marsh is one, and the astronomers from Barrie often meet there, and I would go there sometimes. And I also go to star parties, which is a grouping where fellow amateur astronomers get together and get together to observe, have meetings, swap tables, and such. Nancy and I have been going to one in Ontario. It's over by Walkerton area, and it's called Starfest. We've been going for over 16 years. There's about anywhere about 900 to 1,000 astronomers get together there once a year, and it goes for a week. When I was going to Florida for almost 20 years, I went to the Winter Star Party in the Florida Keys, and it attracts up to 600. They don't have much room there, but I've stopped going there since COVID, and of course the United States is now, we would prefer not to go there anymore for various reasons. Now, what do I actually look at? All of you have favorite songs, and I'm sure that when you listen to radio or you get on TV and such and your favorite songs come along, that you prefer them. Well, astronomy is a little bit like that. I don't go out to see the pictures that are going to be on internet where you see the NASA Hubble pictures of the beautiful locations where the stars are bright and shiny, and you see the origin of nebula and various galaxies. So I'll just mention about those. What I look at often are what we call the faint fuzzies. These are deep sky objects which are predominantly galaxies and nebula and such. Everything that you see when you look out in the dark sky are stars within our Milky Way. You do not see extra galaxies, although there are billions of them. We have a couple billions of stars within our own Milky Way galaxies. So you're looking at exciting little things like asterisms, which are little patterns. I have a favorite called NGC 457, which looks like it's called the ELF, or the Firefly, or ET. And basically it has two colored eyes. One is bright blue and one is yellow. And it's got stars that go out like it's wings, and then it's got a tail. It's located at the end of Cassiopeia, which is the big W in the sky. You've seen that. That W of Cassiopeia is in line halfway from Polaris, which is the end of the Little Dipper, which then goes to the Big Dipper. Those three are the most visible asterisms or conglomeration of stars that you would see during the summer from up here. During the winter, Orion. It's got the three stars of the belt of Orion, and then its sword, and then the shoulders, they have Betelgeuse and Rigel. I like seeing that. It's an old friend. But every time you see that, you know winter's coming. Because it doesn't show up. First you'll see what they call the double cluster, and then you'll see the Pleiades, which are a little fuzzy patch. 7 stars, called the Seven Sisters, the Pleiades. They are ahead of the Orion, which is what would you call it? It's one of the 12 or 13 of the zodiacal figures that they even use it in horoscopes, that's not astronomy. Anyway, so that's what Nancy and I do, and there's a few things that we, Nancy not so much. I'm also interested.
Cold, it's too cold.
That's the other thing. At my age now and the temperatures that these things are visible at, not so much do I go out. I still go to the star parties, and I've gone to a couple. I used to have about 4 of them. There was the Eronia Star Party, the Frozen Banana Star Party. You didn't guess about that one. And then there's a couple on Manitoulin Island, which is a very dark sky area. And so we would do that, and a few other interesting facts that the moon, for instance, when you get up and you look and you see a little crescent moon, it's a C. The next day it'll be 1 hand width over at the same time, and it'll be a bigger C. And it'll go all the way over until it becomes the full moon. And then after the full moon, now it changes to a D. And so you've got C, O, and D. And but in parlance, it's called dark moon because they go the opposite way when they're talking about it. So anyway, the moon moves 11.5 degrees every night. So 28 days, complete lunar cycle. Also, if you see the moon in the daytime, and you see how it's illuminated, if you take a tennis ball and hold it in line, your tennis ball will be illuminated exactly the same. And then, running a little long, one other thing that's important about the moon, it is the most fascinating and unconvincing or convincing illusion of all in nature. When the moon comes up as a full moon, it looks bigger. Always, everybody, you can't deny it. When it goes up to the top, it's little. In reality, it's the same size. If you took an aspirin and held it on your end of your finger and held it on the moon when it's about the horizon up top and almost gone on the horizon, it's the same size. Optical illusion. Anyway, that's why I'm into it, and boy, I've got 2 big hobbies, and I've enjoyed those. I've got more than that. I may talk on amateur electronics next time. I play with computers and build little things, and so maybe I'll even talk again next time.
Great.
Questions for maybe 1 minute? Any? No? Go ahead.
I just want to say.
Nothing on it?
How young were you when you started looking at the stars?
Well, I came up here in what did I say, 69, when I bought the sailboat, and then I bought a bigger one in 73. So I'll go one more time. Around 1990, I think it was around 1990, Nancy said there was an optic workshop opening at the McLaughlin Planetarium. We were living in Toronto. I thought, I'm gonna go to the optic workshop. And so that would be, I'd be, what, if that's 92, I'd be close to 50 years.
Age doesn't matter.
But anyway, I made a telescope, 6-inch telescope with the optics workshop, and that's how it started. I've been telescopes ever since. Anyway, thank
There was
you.
one more question in the back. Did you have a
Oh, I'm
question?
sorry.
Where do 900 people stay in Walkerton?
It's not really Walkerton, it's,
It's on the field. Oh, they can't.
it's a campground. It's called River Place.
Do you have it?
Yeah, it's actually two things I want to say.
They're really quick.
Did you know when they say like a half, like spot I could like look in, it's like half of it's just like dark. And I wanted to say this for the radio part. I was on the French radio. They have that.
Okay. Well, the moon isn't broken, it's just a shadow.
I know, that's what I said.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're a big Sky family. I actually got to experience some of what you said at a women's wellness event last year off Camp Kitschy, and the way you could see the stars in the sky was just reminds us how humble we are, how small we really are in this world.
Yes.
Amazing. I'm super excited for our next guest. I absolutely adore her. She's, in my eyes, one of the lights of our community. Rachel, though relatively new to our First Penetanguishene Church community, has generously jumped in to help with the Sunday school, so I already love her. Let's give her a round of applause for that, because she has to help deal with my children. And of course with the Caring Kitchen. Her enthusiasm is refreshing. Today she'll speak on a topic that is close to her heart. Rachel is here today to talk about working with children with autism in church and how to make church more welcoming for them. She has a passion for mental health, working with disabilities, and working with children. Rachel has a full diploma in social service work from Georgian College as well. Faith, Rachel's daughter, has sensory processing disorder, ADHD, and autism as well, which makes these topics even more meaningful to Rachel and spurs her to educate others. Let's please welcome Rachel.
Thank you. As she mentioned, yes, I do have my diploma in social work. Hence why I love helping out in Sunday school with these children, as crazy as they can be. But it is fun. We have lots of fun. As well as at the soup kitchen, I love helping out. Mary can vouch for that. One of my biggest passions is working with children and homelessness and mental health. That being said, today I want to talk about something deeply personal to me as a parent, as well as a teacher in church. My daughter, as you just heard, has pathological demand avoidance autism, which is a special type of autism that actually has not been recognized in Canada until just recently. It's actually more recognized in the UK, Australia, and USA, which makes it super hard for parents like us to get help for that specifically in Canada. Because of her disabilities and special needs, church has not always felt safe or welcoming for my family. And sadly, we are not alone. A national survey shows that children with autism are twice as likely not to attend church as neurotypical children, not because they don't want to come to church and not because they don't feel invited, but because they've had negative experiences at church and they don't return. Autism is a lifelong developmental condition that affects communication, behavior, and how individuals experience the world. For children like my daughter with autism and sensory processing disorder, movements, sounds, or vocalizations during church services are often uncontrollable chemical responses to stress, or it can be stimming. These behaviors are not intentional disruptions. They are not trying to be frustrating or annoying or disrupt you. It is uncontrollable, and they help the child regulate and cope. Sensory processing disorder means that the brain struggles to interpret sensory inputs such as sound, light, and movement. What feels normal to many of us may feel overwhelming or even painful to a child. There are simple ways that we can better welcome these children and their families at church. A church buddy system provides a trusted, educated person to welcome the child and the family and sit with them in church, or step out with the child if they become overwhelmed or upset. Visual supports like picture schedules, and communication cards help reduce anxiety, especially for nonverbal children or those who struggle with verbal communication. Regulation tools such as fidgets, drawing, coloring, any of that can help children stay calm, engaged, and regulated. These are supports, not distractions. Sensory accommodations, like noise-canceling headphones, can make worship possible for children sensitive to sound. Again, they aren't ignoring you. That is how they cope. And clear, supportive communication, lastly, including rephrasing lessons in Sunday school, which we do a lot, and offering choices in Sunday school, which, as they can vouch, we do a lot as well, can help reduce anxiety and encourages them to participate even more. Finally, supporting the child also supports the family. Offering care from arrival to church to the departure of church gives parents the chance to worship and rest. Families of children with disabilities are not asking for special treatment. They are asking for understanding, dignity, and belonging. When we make room for these children like my daughter, we are not disrupting worship, we are practicing it. And when every child is welcome at church, the church then becomes a place where no one is turned away. Any questions? Weston?
I don't have a question.
No, you're usually full of questions.
No.
Not today.
Not.
Okay.
Every question that I had, you answered.
I did? Okay, good. I'm glad that I answered it. Anybody else have questions?
Just a thank you, Rachel, for
Yes.
helping out.
Yes, exactly.
So what are
That
we-
was my only, just thank you for everything you do for the church and making it better for everybody else. You deserve a lot of, everybody deserves a lot of recognition for all everybody that does anything for the church to help. Especially what you've done recently to make it better for people with disabilities and make it more welcoming.
Yes.
I'm one of those people that had one of those experiences where I didn't feel welcome because of my disabilities at a different church and didn't want to come back before you brought me here.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Pass the torch.
Amazing job, thank you for that. Do you want to do it? Okay, so it's your last chance. We have one little guy who's been on the list, but he's a little nervous, so we'll see. We may squeeze him in later. Okay, well, the next performer is someone very near and dear to my heart, but we need 2 seconds just to set up for him. So just give us 2 seconds. Move off of that chair, please.
Okay. Is the volume okay?
All right, so our next performer is Lincoln. I'm going to be his guest star, but this is all his show right now. He is 9 years old and in grade 4 at Saint Joseph. He is a participant in our Sunday school as well. He has been acting since he was a baby, and he's actually already appeared in several commercials. Lincoln loves making movies. He loves reading stories and bringing characters to life. When he's not acting, he enjoys coloring, making comics, sharing his creativity on YouTube channel, which he hopes you'll follow him. He hopes you'll enjoy the performance today, and as I said, and pardon?
Don't forget to come to that my class is.
Oh, and he also like me to remind you that as part of his class at Saint Joseph, he's actually every couple weeks he's actually on the radio with his class, so he's very excited about that. Once, maybe another time. He's gonna give me my notes all for it. All right.
Okay.
Leo,
Yes.
why are you dressed like a confused pirate?
This is fashion.
Put on your pajamas.
I can't.
Why?
Emergency.
What kind of emergency?
A pajama emergency.
Explain.
My pants are missing.
Your pants are missing. They're on your head.
That explains a lot.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Arms up.
I'm innocent,
You're innocent. You're guilty of bedtime.
but I'm not ready.
For what?
Sleep. We're sleeping.
You've been doing that your whole life.
But if tonight is different,
Different how?
what if I forget how to sleep?
You will not forget how to sleep.
Prove it. Prove it.
Close your eyes.
Now what?
Breathe.
I'm doing it wrong.
You're fine.
My nose is too loud.
You have perfectly polite nose.
I'm forgetting. Wait, I forgot something.
What?
The stuffies have a meeting. Okay, everyone, bedtime plan. Mr. Bear, guard the door. Bunny, emotional support. Dino, just act scared. Roar!
Impressive leadership.
Thank you. That's very important.
Lights out.
No!
Why not?
Because monsters.
We checked.
They hide.
No monsters, just socks.
Those are worse. What? Wait!
What now?
If I fall asleep, will you still love me?
Yes.
Even with morning breath?
Especially with morning breath.
Okay. Can I have water?
Go to sleep.
Had to try.
Good night, pirate.
Good night, Geo lady.
Wicked Dozo! He makes it tricky with the mic. Our next presenter we have today is, we always enjoy seeing him perform every Sunday at church. He's our beloved organist and a man of many talents and interests. His quiet manner, extensive knowledge, and affability are a true blessing for all who come in contact with him. He's been here for 25 years playing the ivory, but instead of playing the ivories today, this is exciting, I'm looking forward to this, he's going to do a rap for you all. It will be the first and last time you hear rap from me. Good thing it's recorded, right? It's a Bible rap, so let's give a round of applause. Lots of love for Ross!
Take me 1 second to set up. I forgot that I should have done.
Wes, you want to try with what we got to say?
Absolutely not.
There's your performance for Wes.
What's that? It was working. It's working. Now it's not. No, it's not.
Well, I hope this doesn't offend anybody. Bible rap sounds promising in the basement of a church. I'm going to send out a challenge to Barry that he follows this lead in a future sermon in Lent.
I guess that's not how I do it.
Okay.
that you on piano?
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Jesus loves you, this I know, for the Bible tells you so. It's my Bible. Our God loves us, this we know, for the Bible tells us so. And what the Bible tells is so. Our God loves us, this we know. Yo, there's lots of stories of faith and struggle. Stories about folks caught in a muddle. Story after story in the holy book about folks who felt lost or felt forsaken. Stories where God heard desperate prayers and responded with love and grace and care. These 5 stories show God's intent, and they're all found in the Old Testament. The first about Adam and his partner Eve, who bit into an apple, so they had to leave their home in paradise of birds and plants, and God told Adam, now you have to wear pants. The second about Noah, a rare good man, whom God chose carefully and gave this command. Build an ark, Noah, because I'm going to send a flood. I'm saving you and animals before you drown in mud. God loved Noah, this we know, for the Bible tells us so. And God loves us, this we know, for the Bible tells us so. The third story is about David, who looked after sheep till he battled with Goliath, who was over 6 feet. God helped David aim the stone in his sling to hit Goliath's noggin. David became king. God loved David. This we know, for the Bible tells us so. And God loves us. This we know, for the Bible tells us so. A story about Moses, a baby in a basket who was sent down the Nile to avoid a casket. Rescued by a princess, he later led his men through the Red Sea and wilderness into the promised land. God loved Moses. This we know, for the Bible tells us so. And God loves us. This we know, for the Bible tells us so. A story about Jonah, who tried to run and bail, but God had plans. He commanded that he sail, but his boat hit a storm. Jonah swallowed by a whale 3 days later. God saved Jonah's tail. God loved Jonah. This we know, for the Bible tells us so. And God loves us. This we know, for the Bible tells us so. Now let's hear about God's Holy Son, Jesus, who brought stories of redemption. His miracles show us that was the intent, and they're all found in the New Testament. One about him changing water into wine. One about him walking on the water one time. One about him feeding with loaves and fishes a few thousand listeners without any dishes. One about him raising a man from the dead. One about healing a man in his bed. He once restored sight to a man who was blind, and all these miracles, they were all a sign that our God loves us. This we know, for the Bible tells us so. And what the Bible tells me so. Our God loves us, this we know. Our God loves us.
This we know.
Look out, Barry.
I was taking notes, I got it.
We'll keep you posted on the first repetition. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So we're up to our next performer. You guys having a good time so far? we need a stretch? How are we feeling? You want to keep going with the goodness, or do you want a little stretch? Bring the goodness. Let's go. All right. Our next presenter today, Gord Clark, who grew up in Cornwall, had a 38-year career in the Ontario Public Service, starting as a forestry technician with the long ago Provincial Department of Lands and Forests, now the Ministry of Natural Resources, and ending as the Sudbury District Manager with the Ministry of Labour. In addition to being a very fine curler, skipping 2 teams out of the Coldwater Curling Club, Gord is an 11 handicap golfer out of the Baystone Golf Club and an exceptional dad to 4 perfectly perfect children. I need you to teach me your ways. Since 2016, Gord has served on the board of directors for the Algonquin Forestry Authority, the provincial agency that manages logging in Algonquin Park. He has been the chair of the board since 2021. In his spare time, of which there is little, he manages the Clark's Keep private forest tract in Ormadonte. Canoes, boats, hikes, snowshoes, repairs, every little thing, transplant things in the garden, tills the soil, prunes the shrubs, shovels the snow, rakes the leaves, looks after the cars, barbecues the steaks. Ooh, you think you need to come over my house. Travels North America and Europe with flair, with nothing more than a backpack, and is the certified captain extraordinaire of Kathy's cheerleading squad. If he has a moment of idleness, he fills it by doing all the vacuuming and a good deal of the laundry. Come forward, Gord, while the women of the church figure out how to clone you. I jumped the joke, I'm sorry. Come on down!
Playing that rap.
There you go, your entry.
Hello, folks. We just made it in time. Kathy preached down in Ivy this morning, so.
You want to go or do you want to stay?
Stay.
You stay?
All right.
You're going to be hungry.
I don't know if I need the microphone or not.
Please.
YouTube.
All right. My topic was curling, which I found really strange because Penetanguishene is the curling capital of Ontario, maybe of the world, for all I know. Is there anybody here that's never curled? Oh, I'm surprised. All right, well, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about curling today. I'm not going to get too technical. Number one, I am not in the same category as the Howard family, although I have had the pleasure of being on the ice with Glenn on a couple instances, and it's quite an interesting thing. So, anyway, I think you've probably watched curling. Hopefully you watched a fair bit of it over the last week. Much more successful than some of our other sports, but it was really great to see the 2 Canadian teams finish either at the top or right there, so it was good. So what do we know about a curling rink? Well, number one, it's made of ice. Number two, it is not like an arena or skating ice. And a lot of people think, well, why can't you just go outside and throw rocks? Well, you can go outside and throw rocks, but you might as well be picking stones up and throwing them somewhere. They're totally different. So, any idea how long a curling rink is? So it's about 150 feet long. And so there's circles at each end. Those are called the house. And the idea of curling is generally there's either 2 people or 4 people on each team. And it's to throw a rock, a round rock. And probably 99% of the rocks in the world that are used in curling come from one spot, which is an isolated island called Elsa Craig off the coast of Scotland. And somebody determined quite a while ago that the granite that's there is in such perfect granite for curling stones, and so that's where they come from. So how much does a curling stone weigh?
40 pounds.
Yeah, that's pretty close. Somewhere between 36 and 44 pounds. Most of the curling stones you'll find are around the 44-pound. So it's not something you're going to pick up and throw down the chute, all right? So then the trick is how do you move that stone? Well, unfortunately, my knees required arthroscopic surgery a number of years ago, and up until that day, I had been what they call a hack curler, where you got down and you slid along the ice like the pros do. Well, the one thing that has kept curling going for most people in my age category is this type of thing, which is called a curling stick or an extender. So what it does is it avoids you having to get down into a hack to throw a rock. The worst thing at my age is not getting down there, it's getting back up. And also, when you watch the people on TV, they slide very gracefully and then release the rock. And it's just, if you haven't had an opportunity to go to an event where there are professional curlers, you got to see it. It's just amazing, the ability that you can take 44 pounds of granite, you can slide it down the ice. It's roughly 120 feet from where you release the rock down to the center of the house if you're trying to hit the center spot, and be dead on. Like it's an art and it's a science as far as I'm concerned. So the way these work, I had hoped to have one of the curling stones here today, but nobody could give me one to carry around. And so anyway, on a curling stone, there's a handle. And this is designed, the handle fits in this little notch here. And then you just set the rock like this, and you walk out and you release the rock and push it. So some people, mainly people that are in the hack curlers, think this gives curlers an advantage. I haven't figured out what that advantage is yet. Anyway, so, and then this is a curling broom. And these have advanced. When I started curling in high school, I think it was high school anyway, it seems so long ago. And still when I was working, I curled in a Quonset hut in Cape Rail, Ontario, on natural ice, and we used what they call corn brooms, and which was truly an art and a science. The people I curled with up there either worked in the mines or they worked on the railroad, and they all had what I call Popeye arms. They had massive forearms, and so them with a broom that's going like this, back and forth, and doing what the rock could do was quite amazing, actually. The thing, though, that pieces of the broom kept coming off, and then the rock would hit it, and it would do strange things. So eventually they developed this type of broom. This one is made by a company that's actually based in Barrie, Balance Plus. You've probably seen them on TV a fair bit. And then the heads come off and the covers come off, and so that they're interchangeable. So, and then the idea is the rock's going down the ice, the skip is yelling at you to sweep or stop sweeping, one or the other. And then over the last few years, we've learned about directional sweeping, where there's a high-performance curling center in Alberta, where they took the rocks and had somebody throw in the rocks, and then they were able to use lasers, etc., different pieces of equipment to try different places to sweep a rock. So we just think of a rock going, you want the rock to go further. You can't stop the rock. You can't put the broom down and stop it. But what they found is you want the rock to curl. So there's a natural, as you release the rock, there's a natural turn on it. Well, they have now perfected the fact that you can make a rock curl more, or you can make it go straight. But that's primarily through the professionals. I see there's a few people at our curling club, I curl out of cold water now, that have managed to do it, but nowhere near to the level that the pros do. So curling teams, like I said earlier, there's usually either two-person teams, sorry. Two-person curling has become quite popular over the last few years. And a couple of reasons is that they only play 6 ends, and they only use five rocks. And so it's a shorter game, which helps people out. And then the rest of the games are generally an 8-end game consisting of 4 players. So anyway, that's curling. It's a sport I love. It's a sport that, like next weekend is the Briar in St. John's. For your information, there's a member of the Coldwater Curling Club, Dylan Nepage, who plays vice on the Ontario team. And it's just astounding. He's curled in the club for a number of years. I think he's probably in his mid to late 20s now, so he's been there. Yeah, not 1920s. But it's really nice that I know so many people from the curling club that are heading down to St. John's this week to be there. So if there's any questions, I brought a couple of books somewhere here that I'm going to leave here. I don't know how many of you remember Doug Maxwell. Doug Maxwell was the person that talked about curling on all the TV programs before some of the current people. And then I have another one here. It's a whole bunch of stuff about the roaring game. All right? So you got to remember that curling, who invented curling? All right, what else stupid game did they invent? Golf. All right? So when they got bored, they decided, well, we need something to do in wintertime. So we'll do that. So,
There were questions for it.
oh, yes. Yes.
Why do they shout so much?
It's because they don't have personal control over the rock. Yes.
Who sweeps when it's a two-man team?
Well, there's different rules. There's 2 types of there's an advanced league, let's put it that way, that competes provincially, where I'm at one end, my partner is at the other end. And you don't change. You stay there. There's also no sweeping between the hog lines, all right? And so the only person that could sweep, so if I'm throwing the rock down that way, my partner's down there, and she can only sweep from the hog line in. And then there's the more advanced one where it's very similar to the 4-man process. There was 2-person curling was in the Olympics the first week, and you see where the person throws a rock, and they are such good athletes that they can jump up, chase a rock that they're throwing, and start sweeping it. And so.
Can you share your thoughts on the double touch?
All right, I have a personal feeling on that.
No, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, well, based on what I've seen, it's pretty close that it's pretty well confirmed that yes, there was some secondary touching going on. I haven't found a person yet that can make a 44-pound piece of granite moves it when they barely touch it.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I'm sure that every curling club in the world was having double touches in the last week.
Well,
I wondered what your thinking was on the subject. I agree with you. It's like, just try and lift up something.
Yeah, well, club curling there may be 2, 3, or 4 clutches or touches. You know, they get up there and they let go of it. But that whole issue, it was really unfortunate. The worst of it was the language that was used. That's the worst of it. You're going to hear that infamous word at every curling club, but it's the person who threw the rock and made the mistake that's saying it to themselves. Curling's a very social game. It's about the only sport I know where when the game's over, the winners buy the losers a drink. Now, what I also found in seniors curling is that once that they have had a drink bought for them, they abruptly have an appointment and they have to leave. So they don't reciprocate. So,
and that drink is cranberry juice.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope that helped. I encourage you. There's usually all kinds of learning opportunities. All the clubs in Ontario offer Learn to Curl, and also there's go and watch a game and get an appreciation for it.
And our men won.
Who won the hockey game today?
We won silver!
I have one other thing I'm going to leave with you. This is a history of the Penetanguishene Curling Club. So I only have one copy, but if somebody is interested in it, it's been around a long time.
Amazing.
All right, thank you very much.
I actually worked at the curling club for a short bit, so it's ironic I still have never curled before. But I did always appreciate that the losers always fought. Like I always thought that was really cool sport. For the winners. I always loved that sportsmanship about it. So it's a very interesting sport. And all of us who haven't curled, let's make a petition this year. Give it a try. If we can. All right, our second last performer. What an amazing time so far, hey? Like, with so much amazing knowledge. Again, let's give a round of applause. I'm absolutely loving this. So our next presenter, Kathy Clark, was born and raised in beautiful Barrie. Kathy's 40-year career was entirely focused on protecting the public interest. Beginning as a federal parole officer, she zigzagged to provincial policy development for inspectors, investigators, and enforcement officers. Led a data analysis team implementing post-Walkerton inquiry drinking water recommendations. Spent 13 years as a regional leader in Simcoe County for emergency management, and wound things up as the Director of Safety, Security, and Occupational Health at RVH in Barrie, which was a tough gig during the pandemic, I can imagine. Ordained as an elder, Kathy completed her Master of Divinity degree at Tyndale in 2016. She was the valedictorian of her class, which delightfully shocked her 4 siblings into rare speechlessness. In addition to working about 40 hours per month doing pulpit supply around the presbytery, Kathy is an associate in the Anglican Sisterhood of St. John the Divine, having some time to fill. She has taken up some community service, currently serving as the chair of the Aurelia Soldiers Memorial Hospital Foundation Board of Directors, as the chair of Couchiching's OPP Detachment Board. In her spare time, she has a deep love of the arts, supporting both the Toronto Symphony Orchestra and the Art Gallery of Ontario, playing alto sax in the Aurelia Concert Band, and singing alongside Wilma Klaus and Mary in the Cellar Singers. She spends a lot of amazing, wonderful time with Gord, being super outdoorsy and serving as his travel navigator. She's the proud mama of 4 perfectly perfect children. On a very happy note, Kathy has absolutely no time at all for dusting. Kathy, it's your time on the mic. Go on down.
As we came in, Ross was doing his amazing rap, and I was thinking, my goodness, that was a terribly tough act to follow. And I'm not nearly as entertaining as Gord, because I'm going to talk about things that really move my soul. Now, everyone here knows that my faith moves my soul, so I don't want to talk about that today. I wanted to talk about my love of art and of music. And I'm going to talk about art first. because as you just heard, like the things I did, as I was hearing that myself, I was thinking I might be overcommitted. But I think, you know, what happens to me sometimes, and this might happen to you too, is I get a little bit overwhelmed, and I feel I'm a complete introvert. And so for me, quiet and solitude is what replenishes my energy. And there's nothing for me that is more replenishing than art. And Gord has been dragged around to, I couldn't count the number of art galleries all over Europe, all over North America. I don't think we've ever traveled anywhere where we did not go to an art gallery. And I wanted to share with you 3 of my favorite artists. These are all Canadian artists. And they're not my favorites because they are Canadian. But sometimes I think we imagine that the great artists are from somewhere else. And my 2 favorite art galleries, and I've been to many, are the McMichael in Kleinburg, Ontario. And another art gallery that perhaps none of you have ever heard of, it's called the Clark Institute. And it is in Williamstown, Massachusetts, a tiny little town in the Berkshire Mountains where our daughter and son-in-law live. And whenever I need replenishment, it is to the silence and solitude of art that I typically go. And indeed, I have an art gallery, a full week art gallery solo trip. Gord is so blessed. I'm having a solo art gallery trip in the middle of March because there's just that the Easter preparation time is so busy for preachers, and I'm just taking a little few days out. So here's my 3 favorites. This is actually art by a Canadian artist named David Blackwood. David Blackwood is really well known for really perfecting copper plating in his art, and he does a tremendous amount of art about Newfoundland and Labrador. And the reason that I brought this one to you is actually, you might not be able to see it that well, but it's this picture on the left, and I'll have it here for you to look at after. It is of the thousands of pieces of art that I have stood in front of. This is the only piece of art that I have stood in front of and wept. And it is because for me, this picture is a picture that depicts absolute, utter devastation and despair. And it actually is a story of survivors from a terrible disaster in Newfoundland in about 1920, where there were people out on the ice, and the ice broke off, and they were marooned. But I didn't know the story when I first saw it, but when I first saw it, for me, that is a picture of despair that every single human can relate to. That captures the human condition. The next one that I want to share is, this artist is Clarence Gagnon. Clarence Gagnon is an incredibly well-known artist in Quebec. Is anyone here from Quebec? Okay, so Nancy, you might know the Maria Chapdelaine story. It's, even if you're not from Quebec, it's a very, very well-known Canadian story from, about the late 1920s, 1930s. This happens to be set in the Charlevoix area. It could just as easily be set in the eastern townships of Quebec. And Gord and I were really, really very lucky last year to see an exhibit at the McMichael of all of the original art that Clarence Gagnon did for this book. But I've just chosen this one picture, and from afar you might not be able to tell what it is. It is a picture of a French village in the Charlevoix region, where the center of this picture, the key focal point, is the church. And this is actually Christmas Eve, midnight mass. And Gord's mom, who was an incredible woman of faith. She grew up in the eastern townships, just on the other side of the river from the Charlevoix. And this is exactly what her childhood village looked like. And for her, the most vivid memory, she and I wrote her life story just shortly after she'd had a stroke. She wanted to capture memories in case she started to lose them. And the most vivid memory of her childhood was her village on Christmas Eve, and how the entire village, this was a Catholic village, hers was a Protestant village, the entire village went to midnight the midnight service on Christmas Eve. And when they came out, there was a big Christmas tree in the center square, and Santa arrived mysteriously with a gift for every child in the village. And for those children, her family, there were 11 children in her family, and they lived in poverty. And always, the only thing she got for Christmas her entire life was an orange and some ribbon candy, except for the gift that Santa brought to the town square on Christmas Eve. So it's such a powerful story that she told with such great love, and that just is it right there for me. And the last one that I actually have two from this artist that I want to share. This artist, many of you won't know. His name is Matthew Wong. Matthew Wong was a very, very young artist born in Toronto. He died in 2019 by suicide. He was a young man who was on the autism spectrum. He also had Tourette's syndrome and suffered from very major depression. And all of his life, he found it very difficult to verbalize his thoughts and his feelings. And he was very deeply embarrassed and ashamed of his Tourette's syndrome because he would sometimes have, really what he considered to be very dreadful outbursts. And in 2017, he and his mom went to Italy because she was trying to give him something where he could just rest in the quietness of his own soul. They went to Florence, which is, of course, the world's capital of art. But I don't believe Matthew actually enjoyed very much of the trip from being out. He painted through that entire time, and he painted everything in blue. And he painted almost every single one of the pictures from that trip and that period of time are painted from him being inside, looking through a window. And after his death, his family said that this was how Matthew experienced the world, as if he were inside, looking out. And I actually have a large copy of this at home. It is Behold the Moon. It's a beautiful, beautiful picture where Matthew is looking at this incredible scene and capturing it with such talent. I mean, I can only color in something. I can't draw a single thing. But it breaks my heart when I look at this and I think he was always on the inside looking out. Except for this one picture. The only picture that I have ever seen of Matthew Wong's where he was on the outside. And you see the footsteps trailing off into the forest. And this breaks my heart equally because this was the last that he painted in the series. And it was shortly thereafter that he actually died. And so for me, I look at this and I think his soul came out into the world and vanished. And that is exactly what that painting depicts. So those are you can't always convey those things with words. And then I just wanted to talk about my love of music because it also fills my soul. And I thought I would just say that, there's such an incredible thing, I'll start with this, about educating children in music. So the first instrument I learned to play was the piano. I thought that was a little too big to haul along today. The second instrument, and the one that massively changed my life, was this. Does anyone know what this is?
A recorder.
It is a recorder. Do you know what kind of recorder it is? It is. Thank you, Mary. I know you're in a recording group, which I wish I was in. This is a tenor recorder. And when I start, some kids start on the soprano, cheap, crummy soprano recorders. This was the first one I ever learned to play. But what was amazing about it is because I'd always been playing the piano, practicing by myself. But when I took up this recorder, I was immediately in a group. And for me to discover that you could make music with other people was so life-changing. And what I love now, and I mentioned it in my intro, but I still play alto saxophone. If anyone doesn't know this about me, I'm so incredibly lazy. And I took up the alto saxophone because it was the exact same fingering as the recorder. And I figured that would give me a leg up, which definitely did. But what I love about that, I still play in the Aurelia Concert Band. And some Monday nights I really don't want to go out, but I go because I love what happens in an instrumental group like an orchestra or a band. And it's all about the rhythm and the beat. And the band as one body has to feel that rhythm, has to feel that beat, or it's a failure. And so this, for me, unlocked the sense of rhythm and beat that unites us as a group of people. And then I just wanted to end with my love of choral music and choral singing.
I know
So
that.
I also started singing as a child. So I just thought, if you're a grandma or you're a parent, don't ever stop singing to your kids. This is my first ever songbook that I ever had. The cover fell off a long time ago. Apparently, my sister drew all over this. She's not here today because I remind her that was a very devastating time of my life. But this, every single day, for several years when I was very little, my grandma used to babysit. And she was Welsh, so she had, a classic, beautiful Welsh soprano voice. And she would sing and sing and sing and sing these songs with me every day. And on her 100th birthday, as I was going out the door, she sang one of the songs from this book to me, Skip, Skip, Skip to My Lou, as I was going out. And as I was leaving, and she really descended into some significant dementia very shortly thereafter. And I didn't hear her sing again. But the last thing she ever sang to me was, "Won't you be my partner?" And that singing was so encouraged by so many teachers when I was growing up. And here we are, like many decades later. And I went from singing Skip, Skip, Skip to My Lou with my grandma to singing, this incredible masterwork. I brought Handel's Messiah with me today because everyone here would know it. But this, going from singing with my grandma to singing in a choir, which the first real choir I sang in, I was in grade 4. And that's where I learned that as much as band is about a group of people experiencing the same rhythm and the same beat, I learned that in choirs, what binds us together is the same breath. And there is nothing more powerful than that moment when the choir is just about to sing. The conductor raises his or her hands and we breathe together. We breathe and out comes a sound together. And for me, that ability to breathe together, to feel a rhythm and a beat together, is the powerful undercurrent that girds my life. So that is it from me.
Amazing. All right, so I lied. We have 2 more amazing presenters. I did a little oopsie doodle. But I'm very excited because actually what you're speaking about today is very near and dear to kind of my own growth as a young person. So Lisa is the proud mom of Eleanor and Rosie. Aside from a lovely singing voice, she is a community leader with the Navy League and Girl Guides of Canada. As she works full time as well, we know that she's a very busy person. Thank you, Lisa, for agreeing to come today and speak about one of your interests. Let's give it up for Lisa.
I might have room for one more. I'm really running low on batteries. It's just something. Okay. If you have an
All right, just trying to brief my helpers here. All right, welcome everybody. My name is Lisa, or as a very small select group of people call me, my name is Willow. In guiding, everybody has their own, leaders have their guiding names. Everybody gets to choose their own. I chose Willow. If you want to know why, we can talk after. I did prepare at 8 o'clock this morning a slideshow because I decided, let's go all in. But then I forgot to communicate that I needed a projector, so I apologize. No one's going to get to see this but me and my girls. There are a ton of pictures. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I don't have time to go into all of that. So if needed, somebody has access to, we'll figure it out, maybe tech people and I can work together. We can post it online somewhere so you can see what we've been doing. here at the church, actually. So I'm a leader with the First Penetanguishene Sparks and Embers. We meet on Mondays between 6 and 7:30, right here in this space, and the one next door. Girl Guides of Canada in and of itself provides a safe all-girl environment that invites girls to challenge themselves, to find their voice, to meet new people, make new friends, have fun, and make a difference in the world. Girl Guides of Canada strives to ensure that girls and women from all walks of life, identity, and lived experiences feel a sense of belonging and can fully participate in a joint activity together. Girl Guides is an organization with over 100 years of history and a strong and growing future. There are different groups for all ages of Girl Guides. We have our Sparks, aged 5 and 6, of which Rosie is a member. Sparks are denoted by their different colors of their scarf, so Sparks wear pink. Embers are aged 7 to 8, I apologize. They have a brown leaves on their scarf. They used to be known as brownies, but due to recent changes, they're now called Embers. Guides, with which Eleanor is a member, has a blue scarf. Their age is a 3-year program. It's aged 9 to 11. After that, you have a green scarf with Pathfinders, aged 12 to 14, and Rangers, aged 15 to 17, and they have a dark red scarf instead of the pink that the Sparks have. Now, guiding began in 1909 when the girls in England demanded to take part in a Boy Scouts rally, which was organized by Lord Robert Baden-Powell at the Crystal Palace in London. Now, Baden-Powell, he was very impressed by this, so he actually asked his sister Agnes to come create a program that's just for girls. So this was the beginning of guiding, so that was 1909. By 1910, the guiding movement reached Canada, and the first unit was formed actually in St. Catharines. And by 1912, there were units in every province across Canada, and many of Canada's most forward-thinking women banded together to form the Girl Guides Association. Today, Girl Guides of Canada continues to be a place where they spark the imagination of girls to take their place in the world and to take action on what matters to them. As female role models, our adult members support the girls to achieve and succeed through fun, adventures, challenges, and international experiences in some cases. Guiding continues to play an important role in communities right across Canada. So that's our history. One thing that's unique about Guides and Scouts, I suppose, I don't know as much about the boys group, I apologize, is the inclusion of badges. So there's 2 different kinds of badges that you can earn while you're a Girl Guide. One is your program badges. So Rosie, if you can hold this up. Yep, there we go, show everybody. So this is what's considered a sash. This is where you would put your program badges on. So there are 32 different badges that you can earn over the course of your program. So whether it be 2 years of Guides, 2 years of Sparks, 3 years of Guides, whatever it may be, you earn different badges associated with it. There are 8 program areas, each have 3 badges with them. Be well, build skills, connecting questions, experiment and create, explore identities, guide together into the outdoors, and take action. Each one of those has a subgroup of 3 different things that you can earn, you can count towards and work towards. The other kind of badging that we have is fun badges. These are usually on like a camp blanket, like Eleanor is putting on. If you want to go out in front and model. So these are only a small selection of badges that she has earned just from doing various things. I have a whole tote bag full of badges I have to continue to keep sewing. That's one of the skills that they will eventually learn, is how to sew their own badges. So I can save my fingers. That one's falling off, that's okay, we can fix that. All right, so what's special about today? Today's February 22nd. Can't remember if Barry mentioned it during his service today, but today is World Thinking Day. Mm-hmm. So World Thinking Day is a program that goes right across Canada. It's designated February 22nd because it's Lord Baden-Powell's birthday. So happy birthday, Lord Baden-Powell. It's a celebration of 11.2 million girls worldwide that takes place every February 22nd since 1926. So people who are quick on their math recognizes that this year is 100 years of World Thinking Day. It's a day for Girl Guides and Girl Scouts across the world to make their voices heard and make a difference locally and globally. It's one of the most important guiding days in the calendar, where members can think about big issues that impact youth worldwide. In the past, World Thinking Days have been focused on girl-driven global issues like poverty, inequality, and access to education. So those are just some of the areas that World Thinking Day has addressed in the past to make sure that the girls really have a chance to think about just the different aspects of what different people across the world go through. This year we celebrate 100 years. We come together around the world in the theme of friendship. This is a chance to reflect on friendships at Bridges and Guiding, as well as the global community that we're all a part of. Now, our group specifically in the church, we are actually partnering with a girls' school in, I want to say Zambia, over in Africa, and we are doing a cultural exchange through videos and bracelets and crafts, that sort of thing. So it's been very interesting to see what they do in their Girl Guide groups versus what we do in ours, and how it kind of like bridges, and we're all part of one global community, even if we're not aware of those who are overseas in another part of the world. Now let's bring it home just a little bit. We're going to talk very quickly, and I think I'm almost out of time already. I haven't even talked about what we do on a weekly basis. We have a couple of songs that we're going to sing. Sorry girls, I don't know if I mentioned this to you. So at the beginning of every meeting, we get together in a circle and we do our Sparks, Embers, and
No, that's not gonna work. Sorry.
Sparks and Embers song and our promises. So when you're a spark, you have a promise. Yeah, we'll do your guide one too. I don't know your guide one though. Okay, cool. Eleanor's gonna do her guide one. First we're gonna start with Rosie's. So when you are doing your promise, how do you do it, Rosie?
I promise to share and be a friend.
That's right. You raise two fingers on your right hand, and they represent community and partnership. And that's that one there. So each element, each unit has its promise. So that was Rosie's. Do you remember your song? All right, we're going to sing it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Sparks jump up as we light the fire. The sparks jump up as we give a big cheer. The sparks jump up as the flames get higher. The sparks, the sparks, the sparks are here. Now the other age group that we don't have a representative from is our Embers unit. So their promise, Eleanor, do you remember your old Embers promise? Yeah. Okay. It's 3 fingers on the right hand. It's right there. And the promise is, I promise to do my best to be true to myself, to my beliefs, and Canada. I will take action for a better world and respect the Ember law. So it's pretty cool that you start very simply with the promise to share and be a friend, but then it expands out as your thinking broadens a little more. The song for that one is Short by Comparison. Do you remember, Rosie? Mm-hmm. We do? Okay, come help me. All right. We're the Embers, here's our aim. Lend a hand and play the game. So she doesn't need to know that until next year, but we're ahead of it. Good job. Please. So that's how we start every meeting with our Sparks, Embers, and song. Eleanor, did you want to do your guide one real fast?
I need you to go.
You need me to what?
I need you to go.
Okay.
Go. We are Girl Guides.
They made their own unit song. It's amazing. It's based on We Will Rock You. We've missed a lot of meetings. So on a weekly basis, we do a variety of different things here. Everything's focused on working together and team building. So we've done everything from just various crafts together. We've done glow-in-the-dark dance and balloon parties. We do scavenger hunts and nature hunts outside. I have pictures for all of these things. I wish I could show you, I'm sorry. We have, let's see, what else do we do? We have our theme nights, so every night, or every now and then, we'll have like an occasion where we have, like our Christmas party, for example. Because we are 100% secular, we don't actually have religion in the program anymore because we wanted to be as inclusive as possible for all girls across all walks of life and all religions. Everybody has a place to belong. So we did a winter party where they made little snowmen out of rice and socks. It was really cute. We did fundraising for various camps that are coming up. We held birthday parties for some of the girls. We have guest speakers. So in the past, we've had a veteran from the Legion come in, talk about Remembrance Day, about the importance of remembering, and then guide dogs and service dogs, what they do. We've also had a visiting artist where we had sort of a work together, paint with a squeegee, and then we painted, what did we paint, Rosie? There were trees, the Georgian Bay pine trees. Everybody had a unique picture that they ended up with. We also just recently had a visiting paramedic who talked to the girls about health and safety, the importance of 911, what happens when you fall through the ice, all in preparation for the winter camp that we have coming up next weekend, actually. We do different types of campouts. We do fall campouts, where we build fairy houses, rock climbing, nighttime sky viewing, archery, swimming, all sorts of stuff there. That's that too. We do a lot of cookie sales. If there's nobody is familiar with cookie sales, come see me. I can enlighten you and sell you just anything you want. Stuff that we've done in the past, we've gone to Camp Wildman, which is actually a local scout camp, where they've done all sorts of activities. Eleanor can speak to those afterwards. We visited the fire hall, all those sorts of things. We talked briefly, very quickly, about our upcoming winter camp. So that's actually up in the YMCA Camp Pinecrest, which is up in Torrance, which is not too far from one of those night reserves, if I remember right. And they do everything from snow tubing to broom ball to horse, cross-country skiing and tubing and fire starting and all sorts of other winter activities. All in the comfort of a nice warm cabin. Coming up, we have Sugar Shack visits. We also have our end of the year camp, which is actually really exciting. We're going to the Toronto Zoo Serengeti Bush Camp, where we'll actually spend one night at the camp itself, at the zoo. So we're very excited about that. No, you're not in my unit anymore. All right, so I definitely went over my time.
Yeah.
I do apologize. Like I said, I can post this for anybody to see the pictures afterwards. If anybody has any questions, we can talk after Reverend Barry does his thing and everybody else is dismissed because I don't want to hold you hostage for any longer.
We're
All
running
right, thank you so much.
Amazing job. Good job, ladies, as well with your songs. Well, we've come to our final performer. This is like automatically, I say performer. Presenter. Are you guys ready for our final presenter? Have we had a great day so far? Amazing. Our final presenter, we welcome Reverend Barry, who has a new tale to tell. The legend of Slappy Hopper. Without delay, we eagerly welcome Slappy.
Well, hello. My name is Pierre Renoir. Not that Renoir. No. That is my cousin. He is a great artist, you know. I'm, how you say, amateur. But I want to tell you about the greatest. And when we talk about the greatest, we talk about the greatest lumberjack in Paul Bunyan, or the greatest boxer in Muhammad Ali, or maybe even the greatest cowboy of all time, Lightning Larry. But today I want to tell you a story of the greatest sign painter you ever did see. His name was Slappy Hooper. Now, Slappy Hooper was the biggest and the fastest and the best painter you ever saw. He was the biggest because he was over 7 foot tall with shoulders to match, you know. And he weighed 350 pounds without his bucket or even his brush. He was the fastest painter you ever saw. You gave him a sign and slip, slop, slap. It was done. It was beautiful. But he was the best. Why was he the best? Because he would make a painting look so true to life, you know, so true to life, that it almost came off the sign itself. And there were people in the town, when they looked at his painting, you could not even see a brush stroke, you know. That's how good it was. But there were people in town that thought his paintings were too good. You know what I'm saying? They thought it was too good, and that is where the trouble began for Slappy Hooper. His first job was painting a sign above the floral rose flower shop. He painted a beautiful red rose. It was the most beautiful rose you ever did see. And Mrs. Red Rose, the owner of the shop, was so happy. And Slappy Hooper went home happy. But then 1 week later, Mrs. Red Rose, not so happy anymore. She called Sloppy back. She says, I don't like your sign. It is too true to life. I am losing customers. There's hives of bees all over your flower. It looked too true to life. They can't get in my store. I'm losing business, and the flower itself is wilted. Who's going to buy a wilted rose? I'll never hire you again, Sloppy Hooper. Well, Sloppy Hooper wasn't sure he'd get a job again. And all of a sudden, he got one more job from the Eagle Messenger Service. And he painted a beautiful eagle. You should have seen this majestic bird on that sign. And Mr. Baldwin Eagle, the owner of the Messenger Service, was very happy. Until he looked up at the sign and he said, I think the eagle just blinked. And he says, what? I think the eagle just blinked. It did. Look, now his wings are moving. And it flew right off of the sign into the blue sky, never to be seen again. Mr. Baldwin Eagle was not a happy camper, you know? Well, now people are afraid to hire Sloppy Hooper until the Sunrise Travel Agency gave him one last job. And that job was to paint a beautiful billboard right beside his shop. And he painted two beautiful people, a man and a woman walking barefoot on the beach with a beautiful sun in the water, and they had champagne in their hands and they were toasting the sun, you know. But all of a sudden, people started to come, and the owner of the Eagle Messenger Service was not happy about his sign still. But neither was the owner of the travel agency, the Sunshine Travel Agency. Mr. Ray Sunshine was not happy. He goes, look, all these people have their beach chairs under the sign, and they're sunbathing in the sun that you painted because it is too true to life. And then besides that, who's going to book a trip when they can sit under my sign? So what did he do? He goes, you got to fix it. So Sloppy Hooper went up to the sign and he painted the sun even hotter, you know. And people were getting sunburned and they started to walk away. And Mr. Sloppy was kind of happy he had fixed it. But all of a sudden, across the road, it was so hot, the sun, that it caught the buildings on fire on the other side of the street. And the mayor was not happy. He was not happy with Mr. Ray Sunshine of the Travel Sunshine Agency, and he said, you know, you got to fix that sign. So Sloppy Hooper went up, he painted a storm cloud on the sign, and he had to jump out of the way because it was so true to life. 2 bolts of lightning came right out of it. And all of a sudden, torrential downpours, and it flooded the street. And nobody was happy anymore. And nobody hired Sloppy Hooper again, and Sloppy Hooper was so upset. So he decided to do the only thing he could do. He took his painting kit, and he went to the highest bridge in town, and he was going to throw it over the bridge because he was done with painting. But just as he was about to toss it over the side, there was a voice beside him. It said, Sloppy Hooper, do not do that. You are going to need those. You are going to need your bucket and your brush. And he looked beside him. There was a man almost as big as Sloppy Hooper himself, wearing a white paint suit with paint splotches all over it, and a white painter's hat with angel's wings on the side. And he says, my name is Mikhail. And Sloppy Hooper said, what do you want with me? Well, I work for a boss. I'm with the Heavenly Sign Company. And my boss has liked your work. He's been watching you, you know. And he has a project for you if you don't mind working in the rain. He goes, what is the job? He says, the job is this. I want you to paint a beautiful rainbow on Wednesday. On Wednesday, there's going to be lots of rain coming. And normally we take care of the rainbows on our own, you know, but this time we need extra help. The boss needs some help. And he wants you to paint a beautiful rainbow. So that day, on Wednesday, Sloppy Hooper, he rented a cannon, And he went into the middle of a farmer's field, he pointed it straight up in the sky, and he loaded it with ropes and sky hooks, and he fired that cannon straight into the air, and the sky hooks caught on the sky. And all of a sudden, Sloppy Hooper got in a scuffle, and he pulled himself up and up and up until he was just under the clouds, and he painted the most beautiful rainbow you ever saw with every color under the sun. And when the sun came out, it was so beautiful. It was magnifique, you know. It was one of those things. But all of a sudden he felt a jolt, and he looked up and the sun had run right into his skyhooks. And he thought he was going to go for a big drop right down back to earth. And so he just put his head down and he waited for it. But it never did come. And he looked up again. And all of a sudden the sky hooks had caught onto the sun and they were dragging the whole rig along with Sloppy Hooper across the horizon. Most artists would have been terrified, but no, he was enjoying the ride, you know. And all of a sudden on the scaffold beside him was Mick Gale. And he says, the boss is very happy with your rainbow. He has one more job for you. If you don't mind working odd hours of the day, we want you to paint the sunrise and the sunset each day. The boss usually does this, but the boss is getting older, you know. And the boss, he gets a little tired. And he wants some help, give someone else a chance. And he's watching you, and he wants you to do it. And my friends, he's still up there today. Sloppy Hooper, getting dragged across the horizon every day, painting beautiful sunsets, painting beautiful sunrises, and there is no brushstroke in sight. And it is a beautiful sight. And now, my friends, is the legend of Sloppy Hooper.
One more time for Reverend Barry Sloppy. Thank you all for joining us today. I think we're okay on YouTube. If not, I have
2% left.
2% left. We did that with 2% battery left. Let's give it up to AB. You are welcome, YouTube. I have it recorded too for, just forever. I'm just joking. Amazing, amazing job. And we have I have it that I'll send to the AB team. Did you guys have a good time today? I learned so much. I encourage you and invite you. And the next time we do an event like this, maybe drop your name on the list. We've had so many different things happen today. It's always so amazing to learn from each other. Have an amazing, blessed Sunday, and I look forward to seeing you next week or before. Thank you.